challenges. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Dom Emmanuel has called on Christians and the people of the state not to limit God through their actions and their words. The governor gave the admonition while addressing worshippers at the Regina Cooley Catholic Parish, Uyo, where he worshipped. Governor Emmanuel drew references from the Bible, where some children of Israel took some actions that provoked God to anger, despite what God did for them. Earlier in a homily, the parish priest, the Very Reverend Justin Udoma, charged Christians to persevere until they get their desires from God, despite the challenges they may be facing. According to him, for Christians to receive from God, they must also be prayerful, live a responsible life, and have a good relationship with God. We move now to Africa, where Cameroon has welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron on his first trip to Africa since his re-election last April, in a visit that would also include Benin Republic and Guinea-Bissau. The visit comes at a time when France is looking to renovate its military partnerships on the continent to maintain its strategic competition in the face of increasing influence by Turkey, China, and Russia. Reports say Macron's visit to Cameroon is to warm up its relations and strengthen its support as the country plays a strategic role in Central Africa. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, Macron will travel to Benin Republic, followed by Guinea-Bissau on Thursday, as President Umaro Sissoko Embalo is preparing to take the helm of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. On the foreign scene, 2 people have reportedly been killed and at least 5 others injured in a shooting at a park in Los Angeles neighborhood of San Pedro. Los Angeles Police Department's Captain Kelly Monique said during a news conference that investigators believe the shooting began as a dispute between 2 parties at Peck Park. Reports say the police are continuing with efforts to clear the park for evidence and potentially additional victims, as an informal car show was taking place at the park at the time of the shooting. Meanwhile, an international human rights group has formally asked Singapore to indict Sri Lanka's deposed president Gotabaya Rajapaksa for crimes against humanity during his country's decades-long civil war. Recall that Rajapaksa fled his country earlier this month after his official residence was stormed by tens of thousands of protesters, infuriated by the nation's painful economic crisis. He later escaped to Maldives in a military plane and traveled on to Singapore, from where he tendered his resignation. Rajapaksa helmed Sri Lanka's defense ministry while his brother Mahinda was president and was in charge when the country's brutal Tamil separatist conflict came to a bloody end in 2009. Meanwhile, rights groups have accused government forces of killing 40,000 Tamil civilians in a no-holds-barred offensive during the war's final weeks. Still on the foreign scene, following Russia's attack in the port of Odessa just hours after signing grain deal with Ukraine, is described by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres as a beacon of hope, which would herald food relief for the developing world. UN allies have said Russia cannot be trusted. UN officials say firemen rushed to the port to put out flames on several burning boats, adding that 2 precision missiles had been shot down by Ukraine's air defense in Bagoas in Odessa. Guterres has said there was no explicit ceasefire in the deal, but Russia's obligations were clearly spelled out, with the signing of the document by Russia being seen as its commitment to facilitate the unimpeded export of food, sunflower oil, and fertilizers. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Member of Parliament Olysky Goncharenko said Russia is showing they want to continue to threaten the world's food security with the attacks. Still to come in the news. Usain Bolt congratulates Amusen for breaking world record. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, insurance experts have urged Nigerians to seek cover for kidnapping, terrorism, amongst others, as cybercrime ransom payment is on the rise in the country. The managing director, Universal Insurance PLC, Ben Ujotunu, who spoke with newsmen, said terrorism, kidnapping, cybercrime, ransom payment has become a big risk, resulting to people asking for insurance to protect themselves. He stated that insurers need to look at the insurance deeply to be sure that it is a risk they want to go into because of the frequency, exposure, and severities that are very high. He pointed out that every society tries to put measures in place to ensure that its laws are obeyed, but observes that despite this, there are still some people that are determined to break the laws, while noting that one of the responsibilities of the government is to protect lives and property. He noted that present realities demands individuals to take responsibility for their lives and that of their loved ones. In health, former President Goodluck Jonathan has charged members of the West African Society of Pharmacology to spearhead the research for the production of local vaccines to contain epidemics that are endemic in the sub-region. Jonathan, who noted that the world has been experiencing outbreaks of viral diseases, some of which are more prevalent in West Africa, stressed that pharmacologists and scientists in related disciplines must give their best to ensure that such peculiar health challenges are adequately tackled. The former president, who spoke in Abuja on Saturday at a program of the West African Society of Pharmacology, where he was invested as the grand patron of the society, tasked and challenged pharmacological scientists in the sub-region to invest more energy in finding solutions to medical challenges, especially the ones that are peculiar to the region. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 16 new positive cases of monkeypox from 12 states. According to the latest update, Rivers has 3 infections, Anambra 2, Oyo 2, Taraba 1, Lagos 1, Imo State 1, Edo 1, Gombe 1, Delta 1, Bayelsa 1, Akwa Ibom 1, and Bauchi 1. NCDC said 3 deaths were recorded in Delta, Lagos, and Ondo states. Meanwhile, the disease center said ongoing efforts to strengthen surveillance at national and sub-national levels, increased awareness, and investments in risk communication and community engagement (RCCE) have contributed to the observed surge in cases. In sports, Nigeria halted the dominance of Egypt in team events of the 2022 ITTF Africa Youth Championships as the West Africa team claimed the boys under-19 title at the expense of the North African. This win also earned Nigeria a place in the 2022 ITTF World Youth Championships (WYC). The Continental Youth Championships is making a return since the last edition held in Accra, Ghana in 2019, following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, with Tunis hosting some of the best young stars in Africa. According to the Africa Table Tennis Federation (ATDF), the tournament serves as a qualifier for the World Youth Championships, taking place later in the year in the same venue in Tunisia. Meanwhile, the tournament will end on the 27th of July with Egypt, Nigeria, and Tunisia already securing their places at the 2022 World Youth Championships. Still in sports, the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, has congratulated Nigerian athletics star Tobi Amusan on her performance in the ongoing World Athletic Championship. Amusan became the first Nigerian athlete to win a gold medal in the World Athletics Championship when she stormed to victory in the women's 100-meter hurdles in Oregon within 12.06 seconds. Recall that Amusan had earlier broken the world record in the semi-finals where she clocked 12.12 seconds. On the entertainment scene, Disney has announced a slew of Marvel superhero movies, including 2 new Avengers films, as it offered screening fans an emotional first glimpse at its upcoming Black Panther sequel. The record-breaking Marvel movies have dominated Hollywood and global box offices in recent years, with 2019's Avengers Endgame briefly before the highest grossing film of all time at more than $2.79 billion. The studio president Kevin Feige has said Avengers The Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars will hit theaters in 2025, noting that the films will aim to follow in the footsteps of Avengers Endgame, which built unprecedented hype by rounding off storylines presented in all the preceding Marvel movies. Meanwhile, it's another win for Nigerian award-winning singer Temilade Openiyi, popularly known as Tems, as she featured on the soundtrack for Black Panther 2 trailers. The trailer, released on Sunday, was soundtracked by Tems' rendition of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry and Kendrick Lamar's All Right. This is coming a few weeks after Tems became the first female Nigerian singer to bag the BET International Act Award. Following the release of the trailer, fans of the singer have taken to Twitter to celebrate her for her latest feat. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Anyeken. Thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of your evening.